Well, welcome back to Game 2. We see ETOOFRESH performing a split here. I actually read an article online saying that the split does not actually increase your mining over the first minute. So we'll leave that to you if you choose to split or not. We have our Zurich hero Nardi spawning in the top right here. Positions are basically identical to Metalopolis. One thing to note is that there's a bit longer distance. They have to walk out here a little ways and around back down to the ramp. Whereas Metalopolis is basically just a straight shot with the ramps pointing, directly straight. There's not anything blocking right there. So in the first game we saw Nardi do a push in the front that looked like a good idea with roaches against zealots, but the sentry work of ETOOFRESH just was too much to overcome, as he just was able to split that army right in half, and really no chance for our Zurich hero to come back into that game. By the time ETOOFRESH pushed in again, he just didn't have the units up. So we'll see if he can adjust his strategy in this game. He'll have to be a bit more careful when pushing, and I'm really excited to see how both players potentially change their build. So Nardi has seen that the Protoss is not in this position. He's going to continue scouting with that Overlord. Meanwhile, sending an Overlord out to the south. Again, this probe harass, which is so annoying, going on. Two drones, wisely taking one off. So he did a little bit of damage there to the health, but not enough. Pulling up the production tab, as I tried to do. We see a gateway going down. The gateway just about finished, actually, a little bit more than halfway. Zurich just now putting down the spawning pool. Now that's okay, because it takes a little bit longer to get a zealot out, and you're only making one at a time, whereas Zurich can just quickly pop, say, 6 Zerglings in one blow. So he's going for an early expand here. This is very interesting. So this is definitely a departure from last game. Last game he kind of went for a one-base roach push, and it failed, so he's changed it up. He says, I'm just going to try and get an econ going, play a big macro game. At least I think that's what he's thinking. Continuing to scout here with this probe. Good players always scout. If you're not scouting, try and make it a habit. And don't just send your drone in and let it die. Actually look and see what it's doing and see what's going on. Cybernetics core and gateway going down in the Protoss base. Cybernetics core, yeah, instantly researching warp gate, as all Protoss do and should. The natural expansion here just going up. Let's see if he's doing a transfer. He's got one drone coming. So we don't see a transfer of drones. It's always good to split your drones in half when you expand. It just makes them mine more efficiently. Not a huge deal. As the spine crawler goes down for defense, the Zerglings clean up that scout. So Nardi looking good. Queen just about to pop. Meanwhile, ETOOFRESH is chrono boosting out a zealot, just like last game. As Zerglings, 6 Zerglings are on the way. So he is happy to have this out. I'm not sure if this is a perfect wall. What Nardi wants to do here is just try and get through if possible. And he attacks the Zealot, who pulls back. Smart, because he does have a Stalker and a Zealot coming out himself. Probe's coming out here. This is nice that it's preventing the Zerglings from getting a surround on the Zealot. They begin to now. They've got one probe down. Let's see if they can get 2. If they come for two probes down. See, at this point, you should be pulling away, because 3 Zerglings do not beat a Zealot and a Stalker. What they do beat is probes. So maybe just avoiding the Zealots altogether, just continuing to run them around in the base is a good idea. ETOOFRESH actually recommended it to me when I did a Zergling rush to him during our games. So it's pretty sound advice. I've been doing it now more often in my games, and it succeeds very well. Second spine crawler coming up. He's going to need that defense against this force. Was able to take out 1 Zealot, but overall losing 6 Zerglings, gaining 1 Zealot and 1 probe, or maybe 2 probes. That's actually a pretty good deal. That's actually more money for the Protoss player, and additionally, that's lost mining time. So that's really good early pressure. Throwing down this defense is really smart. Just stay in the game. Just get your drones up. If we pull up the unit counting station, we see Zerg is still behind. See, this is not a position you want to be. When you do more damage and kill off probes, you need to be ahead in your harvesters. So it's going to make it maybe difficult for him to get out of that army in the beginning, similar to last game. So Zerglings split up here. That's really good, because if they come through, then it's more easy to surround. And indeed, Nardi is pushing out right now. Very similar force to what we saw last time. Stalkers, 1 sentry, and zealots. At this point, with 2 spine crawlers up. Ooh, don't do that. Oh, thank God. So he's got saved 2 zerglings out of that. It's more pop. You really want to wait until you should be pulling these zerglings down. You never want to attack separately. You want to be attacking all at once. It increases the overall damage that the army is going to do. He is able to fight this off thanks to the spine crawler. I think it had like maybe 10 HP left. And 2 more spine crawlers. 3 more spine crawlers going down? Yeah, 3 more spine crawlers going down. So just really playing it safe. Once again, we have to know that every time you build buildings, you do get behind in this. So I want to see him droning up a bit more, especially if you push off that force. Usually you know it's safe to, kind of say, okay, my opponent is retreating. Now's a good time to build drones if you're playing Zerg. Of course, it's easier said than done. So I don't mean to discount Nardi at all here. Protoss putting up an expansion in his natural. A robotics facility going down. Now, robotics facility, you can either make immortals, which are going to lose to Zerglings, but generally be very strong, or likely he's going to make Colossus, which just shred Zerg armies. Just shred them. Just doesn't matter. Hydralisks. Pretty much Roach is the only thing that even can slightly put up a fight. What he really wants to have is Mutalisks. So Hydralisk Den going down. So if we do see a Colossus in production, this might not have been the best choice. Infestation. I'm sorry, you want Corruptors, not Mutalisks. But either way, Spire is going to beat a Colossus. So Zergling's coming out here. This is a great little poke. I like seeing, just kind of seeing what's going on. He doesn't want to dwell too long. Right now, he just wants to get out. No, you just want to get out. And now retreating. Okay, so didn't go so successful. I really like the idea, but poking in here, seeing this larger force, you kind of know it's time to get out or do a run-by. You never want to engage the army. With Zerglings, their advantage is speed. You really just get them out and get them into the mineral line. A run-by would have been really nice. Coming back here, he could have just simply gone up the ramp and through into this mineral line while this whole army had to filter through that tight choke. But no matter, as he's got quite a few Zerglings out, bringing up the unit counting. We're putting like 44 Zerglings. That's a lot of Zerglings. That's going to be able to do surrounds on Stalkers. I like to see that. Meanwhile, second hatchery going up in the main. The infestation pit is out. We don't see a hive going down. Pulling up the production, though, we do have infestors. Infestors are really great against any type of just big bio army, any ground army. Infestors are really helpful to defend bases. You can just, fungal growth something stalled in its place. It's also good to get them out ahead of your push so they can build up energy. So it looks like he is trying to push a little bit. Just camping out outside here. And engaging the army. Again, Zealots are just going to decimate Zerglings. As my friend is declaring something in obscenities here. And yeah, that army just basically still the entire army is here. You never want to engage Zealots with Zerglings. And unless you do something like maybe throw down a fungal growth ahead of time that kind of frees them in their tracks, picking off that spore crawler there. And now a bunch of roaches out. I like seeing this. This is a large defense. He's got the observer there, so he is able to pick off these creep tumors. I really like that as well. Just going to lower the mobility of the Zerg as you see the creep retreating. So this is some intense moments. So yeah, here is the Colossus. I wouldn't be surprised if ETOOFRESH is just kind of right outside the base, just kind of hold Zerg in its place while he waits for that Colossus to come out. Because as soon as that Colossus is out, he's going to have a pretty big advantage. The Colossus will be able to attack these spine crawlers without getting hit itself. An observer sitting here, Overlord sitting here, just kind of checking out what's going on. Let's take a look at the units, and at this point, the probe to drone differential is pretty severe, 20 additional to